Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. Taoiseach, yesterday's drama in London with the resignation of two senior cabinet ministers from the UK government should not distract from the key message that has emanated from, and indeed the key importance of, the UK government's Chequers statement in relation to the evolution of negotiations in terms of the UK-EU relationship and Brexit. That in essence the Chequers statement represents a pathway to and a platform upon which serious negotiations between the United Kingdom and the European Union can progress, determining their future relationship. The resignations of David Davis and Boris Johnson confirm this reality. The Chequers statement, from my perspective so far, is much more in line with economic reality from the perspective of the United Kingdom and reveals a new Brexit realism that rendered it impossible for the hardline Brexiteers to continue in office. The hardline Brexiteers, such as Boris Johnson and David Davis, never produced a blueprint, never produced a coherent alternative, and indeed the Foreign Secretary said that it was the beginning of the end of the dream. But dreams rarely correspond to reality, and I think credit should be given to the British Prime Minister for navigating this new direction in very difficult political circumstances, as we all know. I've been very critical of the whole Brexit decision, but the British people did take that decision, and I was particularly critical of the absence of any coherent blueprint put before the electorate in advance. It was fuelled by certain racist tendencies, anti-immigration and so on. And that said, however, we as a country export hugely to the United Kingdom. The studies that have been undertaken in Ireland, the ESRI study, the Department of Finance studies, have predicted negative outcomes depending on the nature of Brexit for our SME sector, and particularly for our agri-food area, and also the border, the west and the northwest, as regions which will be very badly hit by a hard Brexit, and we must avoid any such outcome. We are still facing very difficult negotiations ahead. Time is short. Politics in the United Kingdom is very volatile. Clearly the negotiations between the UK and the EU will be particularly difficult and complex, but I think we must retain as a country a key focus on what is optimal for Ireland as an island as a whole, whilst preserving the integrity of the European Union and its mission and rules. So, Taoiseach, basically, do you accept that a positive UK-EU agreement on its future relationship is the best optimal outcome for Ireland? Does the Taoiseach accept that, given Ireland's significant market presence in the United Kingdom, particularly in the agri-food and SME sectors, that the East-West relationship between the UK and Ireland is critical to our island's economic growth and well-being? And do you accept that the Chequers statement, Taoiseach, from the UK government represents a credible basis for the progression of the next phase of European Union-UK negotiations?
Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you for your reply, Taoiseach. Whilst you say they're internal matters for the British government, they're matters which have a profound relevance to and impact on Ireland, because, put simply, the pathway being pursued by hardline Brexiteers such as Boris Johnson and David Davis, if they had succeeded, and if they would succeed into the future, because hardline Brexiteers are still there in numbers within the British Tory party, would have fairly significantly negative impact on our economic well-being, and particularly on the West Coast, the North West and the Midlands, as documented by the ESRI. And I think at times there hasn't been an adequate focus on the potential economic damage and downside to a less than optimal East-West relationship between the UK and Ireland. It affects the island in its entirety in terms of our exports to the British market, which cannot easily be replaced quickly in terms of diversification and otherwise. So I put the question to you, do you believe that the Chequers statement represents a credible pathway to negotiation? And because I do think Chequers statement represents a departure and a significant change in direction and greater coherence from the British government that we have not seen to date. And I think, therefore, it does require a proximate and proportionate response from the EU that should distance itself immediately from some of the comments that have emanated from some hidden sources in the EU, talk about rats deserting sinking ships and crowing and over-egging it, in my view. It's time to get down to serious negotiations and get the optimal resolution for Europe, UK and Ireland.